Assetto Corsa Evo is in the hands of sim racers everywhere. However, the state of the early access is a little bit hit and miss. This is especially true for those using a Logitech G923 racing wheel. There are a range of different issues reported, from no force feedback at all to very little force feedback strength. In this settings guide, I'm going to look at how to fix the G923 and make the force feedback feel better. Not perfect, but better. A warning, these settings won't simply make the force feedback with the G923 perfect, but they'll make them feel as good as we can, at least as much as we can with the game in its current state. For those that haven't tried AC Evo with the G923 yet, the general problem with AC Evo seems to be the lack of any real force feedback. You'll still be able to feel certain parts of the car and how it's reacting on track, however a lot of the sensations feel like they're turned right down. For example, you can feel vibrations from the tyres locking or when you lose traction, but there is very little road or surface feel. These can be fixed to a degree using our recommended settings, however we can't completely overcome them. Now it is worth remembering that Evo is currently in early access, meaning there are bound to be bugs and issues. But despite this, racing wheel optimization and functionality you'd think would be pretty high on the list of things to get right. The good news is that since its initial launch, there have been numerous patches with updates coming to AC Evo almost every day or every other day, so I'd expect a patch for force feedback to arrive sooner rather than later. But there are still some things that we can try to fix on the G923 right now. Before I show you my recommended settings, I first want to address a few of the really common problems that I'm seeing. And the first one's a really simple one, and it's that you can't find the actual force feedback settings in AC Evo. Now I have to say the UI isn't overly intuitive, but to see the settings, go into the control settings, select your racing wheel from the tabs at the top of the control menu, and then select the settings menu on the right of the screen, and there you'll be able to adjust all of your force feedback. Now one that I've experienced myself, and that's the Logitech G923 wheel just shaking really violently when driving in a straight line. The fix that I found for this was to increase the dynamic damping a little bit, or reduce the force feedback gain in-game. Another common problem is that you can't feel any force feedback from the road or the different surfaces. And the fix to this is almost the opposite of my fix to the shaking, and that's to lower your minimum damper and your dynamic damping settings right down, as this will help increase the feeling from the road slightly. The trick here is to lower it down so you can feel some of the road and the track surface, without reducing it so far that your wheel starts to shake violently. Now I want to jump into my settings, and I'm starting with G-Hub. There are only really a few things here we can change, and to be honest, I haven't really changed much at all. Keep the operating range at 900 degrees, keep your sensitivity at 50, and then I've actually lowered the centering spring all the way down, turning it completely off. And then in AC Evo in-game, I've got the settings on screen now, and there to set your steering lock to the same 900 degrees, turn the force feedback gain all the way up if you can to 100%, set the dynamic damping to 20, minimum damper to 10, then go your damper gain with 30, true force all the way up to 100, speed sensitivity at 50%, your steering filter at 10, your steering assist weight, just leave that at whatever you want, I've got 50, and your vibrations at 70%. And that's going to round out this Logitech G923 force feedback settings video for AC Evo. Like I said at the beginning, this won't necessarily fix that issue, the force feedback just feeling really weak, and that is something we're going to have to wait for a patch to fix. However, with these recommended force feedback settings, the game does feel better than it did out of the box. But let me know in the comments below if these settings help you out at all, or which settings you're using for your G923. But for now guys, stay safe, stay sexy, and I'll see you on track.